Hey everybody, how you perking? I hope you're perking good. It's B. I am a licensed mental health clinician and a spiritual intuitive, and I like to use both of those backgrounds together in order to bring about an informed opinion on all the problems, issues, drama that I talk about on this channel. As always, I intend for these videos to be helpful, not hateful, whether it's talking about mental health topics or whether it's using the cards in order to give some guidance to the people who are involved in these issues. So let's get into it. This is a part 2 video because I have already discussed this in my previous video about Nick Snider at the Viewer's Voice calling out Tea Time, a smaller up-and-coming drama channel, and having a lot of harsh things to say about it. So in the last video, I discussed Tea Time a bit, kind of gave some background about what Nick's allegations were towards Tea Time in his first exposed kind of video 2 days ago, Tuesday, I think. And I also pulled some cards for Tea Time, basically just to see if their intentions were actually good intentions or if they had some kind of hidden agendas, and what kind of advice or guidance could we give them in terms of their channel's future. So already did that video. If you're interested in looking at that, then go ahead and take a peek into that video before you watch this one. So as an update, Nick Snider has now released a second video sort of about Tea Time. However, he's really targeting Nikki in Tea Time, because Tea Time is made up of two individuals, Nikki and Mocha. And in my last video, when I did the reading basically said that Nikki has a way of going too far with some of the things that he says, and that if he wants his channel to be, their channel to be successful and grow, one of the pieces of advice or guidance that the cards gave was you really need to learn how to play well in the sandbox with others, and you really need to learn how to watch your mouth some, because you can take it too far. And with Nick Snider's second expose type video that he uploaded, I want to say just last night, that became apparent because he posted a litany of old tweets from Nikki under a different name, his previous Twitter name before they developed Tea Time. And there were a lot of pretty horrible tweets in there of Nikki going too far with the things that he says, just like we discussed in my last reading. So literally just did a reading 2 days ago, and already within 48 hours things are popping off, kind of coming to light. And I'm not going to repeat the things that he said or he put out there in tweets. If you're interested in that, go to Nick Snider's video, watch that. I don't want to say those things on this channel because I don't want to create any problems for myself using things that could be deemed hate speech and racist and things of that nature. He said some things against Mexicans. He said some things against Asians. He used slurs like, if you have a Chihuahua and a Dachshund that get together and have a puppy, and the puppy is a Chiweenie, that Chiweenie is not a purebred puppy, that Chiweenie is a mutt. Use that word for people and see where it goes. Things like that. So there was even a comment that was kind of derogatory, a derogatory slur about the trans community and things like that. So it's one of those things that made me feel like I need to do an update video on this because 2 reasons. One, I think it's important for us to look into the cards to see what are Nick's intentions behind all of this, because some are speculating that Nick is bringing hypocrisy to light where hypocrisy needs to be brought to light, because people who hold others accountable also need to be held accountable. So that's what some people are saying. And some people are saying, Nick, the only reason why you're doing this is because when somebody talks bad about one of your friends, aka Tea Time talking bad about Petty Page, that I discussed in the previous video, that you just decide to come for them just purely out of revenge. And this is only about revenge. You're not trying to, have any kind of righteous great intentions. This is purely about revenge. So, people feel kind of two ways about it. I want to kind of look into that. And then also maybe give some further advice to guidance through the cards to Nick, Snider, or to Nikki for some of the things that are going on, and how maybe Nikki should handle this, given that, yes, these are old tweets back from like 2011 or so. It's 2020 now, 9 years ago. People change a lot in those times, but since those tweets have surfaced, and since those tweets, even if they're old, and even if he doesn't feel that way, and even if he's not that kind of person anymore, people might feel like, hey, we need a response from you about this. We need a statement. You got to make this right. Some people will want that no matter how old that kind of thing is. So let's take a look at it, see if we can give any kind of guidance. Again, this is all about guidance. It's all supposed to be helpful, not hurtful. And don't send hate to anybody. That fuels the fire. That's not what we're about here. That's not what we're going for. You don't want to be a part of the problem. You want to be a part of the solution. So, first of all, Nick's intentions. Let's look into Nick's intentions about making the second exposing video. Let me just drop every card in the deck. Not really, but hey, Butterfingers, slippery cards. Oh, Lord have mercy. Fortunately, Tea Time did see my previous video and commented on there, love a good reading. So I know that they saw that, and my hope is that they already took some of that guidance to heart to see, if there's ways that they can help, and build their channel in a way that'll be successful for them. So, no hate or shade to Nick or to Tea Time, but let's see. Nick, your intentions. Alright. We have one card here. Let's do a little bit more. See where we can get with Nick's intentions. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, must I keep dropping cards? Sometimes cards jump out when it's like the tea is so hot, the cards have to jump out and make a statement. It's like, okay, we're hurrying, we're trying to get something here, And so sometimes I'm like, okay, let me calm my energy down, see if I can get something that's a little bit more, a little bit more pensive, thoughtful, like chill out, alright, we don't have to have all the cards jump out all at once. I can only handle a few at a time. But they're just flying out. They're flying out. Oh my god. If y'all watch the other videos, you see they don't just fly out like this. This is some this is some really important shit. Oh, there I go. There I go with my mouth. Important stuff. Important stuff, y'all. Okay, so with Nick's intentions. So, Nick in his own mind, and that does account for a lot, but Nick in his own mind believes that he is doing this out of a sense of, we need to collaborate, we need to work together, we need to make sure that what we're doing is in line with making, good relationships and friendly collaboration with everybody that's going to be a part of a community. So it's like, these are my friends. This is what's going on here. I want this to all work together. So this is coming from a place of being protective over Petty Page and being protective over the community itself. So which makes sense because a lot of people say that the community itself with Nick and Nick Snider, Dustin Daly, Patty Page, that there's, you know, a group of people that are somewhat of a clique, maybe a Mean Girls clique, some people might say. And so he is preserving that. What I see here is that he's doing it in a way where he feels like he's in touch with his own intentions. He's in touch with what it is that he wants to do. He's this is a card that wouldn't necessarily look like the worst of intentions. Like, this is a card that wouldn't look like this is done, you know, purely out of malicious spite, just to be hateful for the sake of hate. This doesn't look like that starting out. But it's like what he's seeing is that this is not evolving necessarily in the way that he would have wanted things to. This, I mean, the Nine of Cups in reverse is basically saying, you know, the Nine of Cups is a wish card. Like, oh, my wish, my hope and the dream and the wish. And this being in reverse is like, it ain't that. So these are against my wishes. This stuff isn't happening. You know, this isn't coming to fruition the way that I intended. And so the fact that he's having to make several videos now about tea time means that he was hoping it didn't have to come to this, you know, in his own mind. I was hoping it didn't have to come to this. I don't want to bring attention to Tea Time's channel. You know, I don't want to do that, but this isn't cool. I want to say something about this. I got to get this off my chest. I've got to do this. And so he's doing this, and he's doing it from a place of hurt feelings because we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. So he's doing this from a place of hurt feelings. There is a part in this, though, for Nick, where we have the Death card in reverse, and that's kind of saying not wanting to let go. So there is an element to this where Nick is doing and saying and exposing in a way where it's like, you probably need to let go. You probably need to not go too heavy-handed too far. Like, there is a point at which, you know, exposing what needs to be exposed and talking about what needs to come to light and bringing attention to things that are useful to bring attention to, there comes a point when you start to beat a dead horse and you yourself are going too far, and you yourself would be better off to start to let things go, start to let things evolve as they would, and kind of die off in the way that they need to, but you don't want to let go. So this is kind of a sign to say, okay, you went on to my friends, and I'm going to be like, you know, think about like an alligator or something that like grabs onto somebody and then it just doesn't want to like let go. It's like, just loosen your grip and let go already, you know. So there is, from what I see here for Nick, he does have good intentions. His intentions are to restore a peace and collaboration among this community, and to bring to light things that need to be brought to light, and to spread insights that need to be spread, and talk about hypocrisy and hold people accountable in ways that it needs to be held accountable. But there is an emotional standpoint that he's coming from that makes it not the most great of intentions, because it does get a little bit vengeful with that kind of vibe, and then not wanting to let go is kind of like, I'm not willing to end this and stop and let go until you're done for, kind of a thing. And so there is a bit of an intention of, I want to bring this hypocrisy to light, and I also want to make sure your channel's done for, you know. So it's kind of there's a little bit of both going on here, if I'll be honest. I want to look at how this is going to is playing out for Nikki, what kind of advice we can give for him in particular as half of Tea Time, and arguably maybe one of the biggest halves of Tea Time, considering he is perhaps more talkative than Mocha, seems to kind of take the lead a little bit more than her, you know, at least seemingly, and just see, you know, where this is going for him, and if there's any kind of additional guidance about, now that this second video has been made by Nick Snider, where do you go from here? Where should you go from here? You know, that kind of thing. So let's look into that. Okay. I think that card needs to go down too. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. This card was in his, either was in his last reading or this, I mean, either way, what this card represents came up a lot in his last reading. So, okay, yep. All right, okay, there we go. All right, fair, okay. So far, what we're seeing here for Nikki, and I hope that since they watched, Tea Time watched my last video, that maybe Nikki is able to see this video, because if he found the other one to be helpful, you know, I hope that he also finds this one to be helpful. So what we have here is the Hierophant upright, and look at this guy. Look at the Hierophant. You know, this is a guy that's kind of like, you know, the Pope. He's holding up the two hands for blessing, you know, like in old religious paintings and things like that. So this is kind of like, okay, this is an intervention card. This is an intervention. In the last reading, in my previous video that I gave for Tea Time, I said, you know, if you want your channel to go far, which your channel is slated with the power behind it, the universal power behind it, for it to go far, for you to have longevity, for it to grow and be successful. But if you want that, you have to watch what you say. You have to be more careful about your words. You need to learn how to play better with others in the sandbox, is what I said. And this card right here is like the boom, universal intervention, divine intervention, if you will. This is saying that this is coming about because the way that channel was trending and the things that they were doing and saying was getting to a point that they were about to self-sabotage and self-destruct. And they were about to lose everything that they had in a way that would backslide them to kind of a point of no return. And this is a kind of divine intervention to say, okay, we're bringing this out now, early, when your channel is still small, to your attention, so that you have a means to redirect, overcorrect, you know, get back on the right path per se, so that you know, we want to tell you this early because we want to give you a chance before things get too far gone for you to be able to bring this back on track, because this is a channel and something that could go well. With this Two of Cups in reverse, this is saying, like, dude, you are burning bridges right now. You are burning bridges with the things that you've said in the past, in those tweets, you know, a lot of arguably racist statements. Whether or not he is racist, those statements were racist statements. And this is saying, you know, you're burning a lot of bridges right now, and you're burning a lot of bridges in a way that you are creating a future that is not carefree, that is not abundant, that is not, you know, in line with what it is that you're wanting to do. You know, you have to think about your own inner alignment. What is it that you really intend to do? What is it that you really want to use this platform and use this voice that is getting heard by thousands? What do you really want to do with that? Is this the legacy you want to leave? You know, and is burning bridges worth it? And with this card being in reverse, the answer I can already say is no. This is not an us versus them fight. This is not a let's you know, now Nick has all his followers doing his bidding. Now let me rally up all the people that I can to show that I'm right, so that, you know, I'm right and I can go against Nick, and Nick thinks he's right. We can go against each other and see who in the internet thinks, you know, we're right versus, you know. No, that's not the way to go, because that's building an us versus them, which I talked about in my last reading, that would not go well. This is collaboration, getting along, playing well with others, watching what we say. Those are the things. Getting that balance is important. With this card right here, with the moon in reverse, this is saying your secrets are exposed. You know, you are exposed right now. So literally, you are the picture in the dictionary of exposed. You are what it looks like to be in that bad dream people have when they're kids, of being like showing up to school without any of your school supplies, naked in front of your class, getting pointed and laughed at. Like, that's the feeling state that this could bring about. You know, there's no doubt that him seeing that video is going to be like a stomach sink moment, like, oh God, how am I going to get past this kind of thing. Now, the good news is these two cards right here. These two cards right here, Nikki. These are good news for you. So I want you to pay attention to all of this if you can. The Ten of Cups is like a, you know, happy family. Everything's all right in the world. This is one of the best cards in here. The Six of Wands is a victory card. The Six of Wands is like, this is a person who is proud and has something to brag about. So these two cards suggest that you have the power, Nikki, to turn this around. You have a power to make this crappy situation get turned around. So let's see what needs to be done for you to be able to make this crap here with these first four cards turn into this. So let's see what the guidance is. Woo! You see, these cards are literally flying. Literally flying. This is big. This is big. Okay. Let me actually, you know, I want even more than this. I want even more than this because I like context. I think the deeper the context, the richer the advice. So what does Nikki have to do? Ooh. I want a clarifier on this one. I want a clarifier on that card. Wow, y'all, these cards, I'm telling you, they are jumping today. If you look at the other videos that I have posted, they are not jumping like this. They are not jumping like this. Okay, so here, going further for Nikki. This is saying if you want to get things to a better place, because again, this card is showing a better place. This card is showing a better place. If you want to bring things to a better place, you're going to have to make things right. You're going to have to get really clear with yourself what it is that you want to stand for, what it is that you represent, what it is that your platform and your channel represents, and then you need to go from there and make sure that that is clear to everybody else. If that means making amends by making a public video where you go through the things that you've said in the past and you explain yourself and apologize in a way that comes off as genuine and not a way that comes off as just CYA, just placating people, you know, that can be helpful. Right here, if you hold on to your pride and you try to be sneaky or deceptive, and you try to kind of tiptoe around the allegations, skirt around the allegations, excuse away the allegations, ignore the allegations, if you choose to do anything like that, this Major Arcana card right here, Wheel of Fortune in reverse, says that's bad luck. That will bring bad luck for you. That will be a bad move, a bad look. It will not go well for you. It will not go well for you. This with the World card upright is saying you need to bring this situation to a close. You need to shut this door. The door that has been open from Nick Snider about the things that you have said that makes you look like a hypocrite, because in the past you have said very racially insensitive things, even if you may not be a racist yourself, and you may be a whole different person now than you were when you wrote those tweets. You need to close that door, because people can't know what's in your mind and your heart that you know. People can't know that unless you tell them that. So this is like, you know, it's going to be hard to get started on a new foot. It's going to be hard to move forward from here if you don't shut that door, and you can't do it by ignoring it, by being sneaky, by trying to skirt around it, by trying to make excuses. You have to come clean. You have to be open. You have to be honest. You have to show true remorse if that is what you actually feel. You have to be honest with yourself and honest with the world. This is going to take vulnerability. This is going to take kind of holding your head down and doing what you got to do. You know, if you want to close this, that's what it's going to have to take. Let's see if we can get any last bit of advice. Okay, with this last bit of advice, this is a card saying you're working on your craft right now, trying to develop something, and right now that's not going very well for you. And for you to get that back on track, you're going to have to do these things that we already talked about. And this card right here, I mean, look at this person. Look at them. Up in bed at night, can't sleep, freaking out, crying, worrying, all these knives over here. This is somebody that is worrying. This is somebody who's anxious. This is somebody who's getting paranoid. Like, do not let this become you. Do not let you become this. There's a way to close this door and handle this situation, and it needs to be handled, because if it doesn't get handled, this is going to get worse. You're just going to get, more stomach drop moments, and you're going to start looking over your shoulder, looking behind your back all the time, feeling paranoid about every next step you make, every next move you make. Are you being watched? How's it going to go? You don't want to get in that headspace. You really don't. So pull inward, think about these things, figure out where it feels to go forward. If you were somebody, because you may have been in your life as a person of color, you may have been someone who has been on the receiving end of hearing some horrible racist stuff and how that made you feel, and think about, what did you need from that person that made you feel that way? What did you need from them in an apology? What kind of apology did you need? How did you need them to make amends to you for that to feel right? For that to feel okay, for that to feel forgivable, and be that person for the audience that has now seen these things that you've said in the past. Just think about that. And I'm saying this, I mean it from the most helpful place that I possibly can, because I like to see people grow and thrive and be happy. Hurt people, happy people do nothing but love and support. So I want everybody to be happy, because, hurting people doesn't help us. So I'm not coming for tea time. I'm not coming for Nick Snider. Everything that I've said in here for both Nick and for Nikki, this is advice that I'm intending to be helpful, and I hope that it is. We'll keep going with whatever comes up. We'll revisit this however we need to. And if any of y'all feel like you need some kind of private readings to get some of this type of guidance and information for yourself, email me. It's linked below, beastalksandtarot@gmail.com. To book a reading. My rates are reasonable. But I hope the best for everybody involved in this, and I hope we don't have to revisit this issue again. And I really look forward to seeing where this goes, and hoping that it goes forward in a way that better serves this community and takes a little bit of the toxicity, out of this crazy internet, Twitter drama environment. So anyway, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz that everybody says. If you want to, if you don't, still love you. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. I'm going to be late for work. Bye.